DC is one of the top of the list for us. You look at Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. These are brands that are known everywhere in the world, and the ability to drive those all over the world with great story is a big opportunity for us. We have done a reset. We've restructured the business where we're going to focus, where there will be a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. It's very similar to the structure that Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Kevin Feige at Disney. We think that we could build a long-term, much stronger, sustainable growth business out of DC. And as part of that, we're going to focus on quality. We're not going to release any film before it's ready. We're not going to release a film to make a quarter. We're not going to release a film the focus is going to be how do we make each of these films in general as good as possible. But DC is something that we think we could make better, and we're focused on it now.
So, Warner Bros. Discovery is formed. DC is saved. They've even got their own studio. Warner Bros. Division, it's saved. Is it though? I don't think it is. You know me, I really want DC to thrive. They could be a powerhouse again. Warner Brothers, back when they were Time Warner, were a juggernaut in Hollywood, but now they're just a joke. Warner Bros., DCEU, is in major trouble still. There is no plan, is there? We don't know. It clearly looks like there isn't a plan. It just looks to me like David said that to kind of calm down the DCEU fans. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any Marvel, DC, pop culture based content that we do on this channel. If you could, subscribe, turn notifications on. Also, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, because I've got no clout. So, we all know the old regime at Warner Brothers was trying to build to something. I'm talking about the Ann Sernoff, the Toby Emmerich, the Walter Hamada. They were trying to build to something that made absolutely no sense. But does the new plan make it even more sense? We don't know, because it doesn't seem to be one. So they were riding everything on Michael Keaton coming back to be Batman. He was going to take over Batfleck, and Batfleck was going to essentially get stuck in time somewhere in the Flash movie. And then what happened is they scrapped Batgirl. Although it did seem like a train wreck. Based on the information that came out, I really wanted to see Brandon Fraser's role in this movie. So, that was a good move financially for a tax write-down. But realistically, to every studio, to directors, to producers, it wasn't a good move. It has made companies, studios, producers, directors not want to work with Warner Bros. Discovery. So, although it was a good move, it was a bad move. So, the reason they took Keaton out of that and scrapped it all was because they didn't agree with this new plan to make Michael Keaton version of a Batman, a 70-year-old Batman, the mentor for Batgirl. So, this 10-year plan, I honestly don't think they have a plan. Now, I know what you're going to say. They could just reshuffle the end of the Flash movie so Batfleck doesn't get lost in time. But according to Grace Randolph, Ben Affleck Batman is in the movie still, and he still gets lost in time. So, canon. Is there even canon? We don't even know what is canon anymore, because 1 minute they're showing off Snyder Cut footage, the next minute they're showing off Whedon footage. Yes, The Rock rectified what he did, but realistically, they still showed off Whedon footage, and then the Shazam 2 trailer does the opposite and shows off Snyder stuff. So, Black Adam movie is going to reset everything. And then when people say they care about canon, but do they? Do they really? So everyone in the DCEU thought that Superman, Kal-El, Clark Kent was the first superhero, the first be-in, but Justice Society of America and Black Adam have been around longer than Superman, thus for breaking their own canon. It is a really weird one. Do they have a plan? We don't know. We really don't know. Because unless they're going to reshoot the Flash movie, massive parts of it, the same with Aquaman 2, which allegedly they've done some reshoots. They've added Batfleck in. And the same with Blue Beetle and all these other stuff. I honestly don't think they have a plan. I think they could set up things at the end of Black Adam, Man of Steel 2, Black Adam versus Superman, but that's not really a plan. Do they need a plan? I don't really think they need a plan. It is insane. Then you have the rumors that late 2024, early 2025, Comcast Universal will buy Warner Bros. Discovery and all the Warner Bros. Properties from Warner Bros. Discovery. So is there really a plan there? Because I know he's like, yo, we want a studio head. So we have DC Studios now, but no one wants to take the job. And apparently the most recent candidate didn't want to take the job because they're not going to have financial control. They're not going to have creative control. And a lot of producers and a lot of people that allegedly were up for the role were not happy how they filmed a whole movie, they were in post-production, and they scrapped it. We get it, tax write-down, but realistically, the massive debt they're in, not really going to make much difference. Scrapping that movie, realistically, didn't make much difference. Then we get the allegations that the numbers were fiddled, up to 10 million HBO Max subscribers were not really there. So Warner Bros. Discovery, DC, it is in disarray. Now, I don't want to be negative, and I know people are like, yeah, it's going in the right way. Is it though? We don't actually know this. We really don't know this. We're not going to know anything till after Aquaman 2. Now, I know people are like, yeah, if Black Adam doesn't bang, that's the end for the DCEU. Not really, because Black Adam is supposed to be loosely connected. Now, I know they added Amanda Waller and we get the Justice League kind of word in on the screen, and she's coming in to be the connective tissue, essentially, to James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie and the bigger picture for the DCEU. But do they actually have a plan? David Zaslav's not said anything. He's not even said what's going to happen theatrically with the other movies. Now, we get it. We got DeLuca. We have people that are technically in charge of this studio, but for me, what is actually going on? They're in disarray. So the original story was Shazam and Aquaman got delayed because they can't afford to produce market movies. So they've got these movies and they can't publish movies. It's like Warner Bros. Discovery can't even release movies. And then you look at like theatrically content, the last thing DC put out was Super Pets. And yes, it did double the production costs, sure, but under $200 million. It just seems to me that Warner Bros. Discovery is in a mess, a really big mess. So yesterday on Twitter, I put a tweet out and people were like, yo, give us context. So I said, at the moment, Warner Bros. Stroke DC is up. And people were like, come on, say something, give us context how. Not that DC needs to go ahead and be another cute company. I wouldn't be surprised if they sell after the lawsuit. Now, we don't even have the context of the lawsuit, but the problem is DC has to start bringing content out. We get it. The HBO Max stuff seems to be doing decent, but theatrically is where you make the money. Joker banged over $1 billion. Aquaman banged over $1 billion. So realistically, I don't agree that Black Adam has to bang $1 billion, but it has to be financially successful. The same as The Flash, the same as Aquaman 2, the same as Blue Beetle, because they need to start making money back, because it's like, yo, we can't bring movies up because we have no money to market them. What is going on? Is there a 10-year plan? Personally, I don't actually think there is a 10-year plan. And at the moment, from me looking in from the outside and just looking at everything that's going around, I think they're in a massive mess. I really think Warner Bros. Discovery, DC, and the Warner Bros. Studio as a whole is screwed at the moment. It's like, what is going on over there? We get it. There's a transitional period. But seriously, it's been a few months now. What is going on? They need to come out and say what they're actually planning to do with DC. We don't need DC to copy Marvel. If they try that, it will fail. They had a blueprint. It was the SnyderVerse. That was the blueprint. And realistically, if they stuck to that, they most likely, definitely, in my opinion, would have been more successful. Now, I'm not saying they overall would have been successful, but I'm saying it would have been more successful than what they've done. We get it. The Suicide Squad only just did $400 million, which wasn't great. But overall, what the freaking hell is going on with DC? In my opinion, it is screwed. There is no plan until Zaslav comes at me and says, what is actually going on? It's like, cool, Black Adam was filmed before Discovery came in. Yes, they did reshoots because it's screen tested so bad, it was on Batgirl level. But all of a sudden now, it's pretty good. The Flash apparently is screen tested on the Dark Knight Nolan trilogy level, yet the plot leak information for The Flash is really weak, but apparently it only tests screening very good because Ezra Miller kills it in every role he has. that's neither here or there. Aquaman 2 tested well. Apparently, Discovery, Zaslav is not happy with the storyline in this movie. So, I hate to be so negative, but there is no plan. DC is currently screwed unless they start dropping some connective tissue in each movie, Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman 2, etc. But we don't even need connective tissue. We just need them to start producing movies. Hell, if they want to reboot everything, do it after the Flash movie, but then they can't because then they'll have to scrap Aquaman 2 and scrap Blue Beetle. So I think they're screwed unless they've got some master plan that no one seems to see online. I honestly think at the moment, Warner Brothers and specifically DCEU is absolutely screwed, regardless to how well Black Adam and The Flash actually does. Unless they bang $1 billion each. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the face behind the voice. Also check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. And I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.